Mandy! I'm doing a vitamin E oil mask on my face and it feels pretty sticky. I learned a trick on the internet. You don't buy the vitamin E oil in a bottle. You buy it in the pill form and then you hot the pill open and then squeegee it all over your face. My coffee, I'm gonna make a list. I'm pumped to be doing this, round number 2. One thing that I've learned from episode 1 of getting started with YouTube is that I did not film it the right way. I have no idea how to fix that, so today I'm gonna try and turn it sideways. I am going to freshen up, write down what I want to talk about. Let's get going. It's just nothing like a bold lip, you know what I mean? Dang, that is pink! And not really that bold. Oh, jeez. If I just... Whoa. Sometimes you just know that you've made a bad decision and you gotta go back on it, you know. But YouTube, round 2. It's gonna be easier. I can't look at myself. It's so frustrating. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about today was actually how I got started songwriting. I can't really remember like where I started writing, but I'm pretty sure that from the moment I could talk, I was kind of freestyling about the leaves or the imaginary horse that was actually a tree in my backyard. A lot of them were about animals. Very good songs. I was writing poems. At the same time as writing poems, I was practicing a little bit of running away. Those two things kind of coincided. I wrote a lot of poems about freedom. Eventually I did, a couple times, run away. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, for causing so much stress. So key phrases would come into my mind at a time, and usually, almost always, they would come with a melody. One of the songs, I was behind this big giant rig. I was always going after something, and I was always on the road. A melody kind of came through. I keep chasing these taillights to get to you before you leave again. And then the melody kind of builds on itself, and then I have to figure out, is that the chorus? Is that the first verse? Is that gonna be the hook or the bridge, or where does that fit in with the song? What is this song? What is it about? Why am I writing it? I give it a lot of space to just kind of figure itself out. I have no idea sometimes where they come from, and that's one of the coolest things, and I love that so much, that these songs are kind of writing themselves. That's usually how the writing process goes for me. I never start with guitar. Some of you know this about me. Some may this be new information for you, but I don't like playing the guitar. It drives me crazy because it takes half of my brain away from what I really want to do, which is talk about my feelings in the song and sing with emotion. Once I have the main chords down, then I just float around on the neck of the guitar and find bar chords that will hopefully go with the melody that I've written. So the fact that I have a band right now that's willing to play with me and actually write really good parts to my music. So good. Next thing for this episode, this bug on my finger, and no, he's fine. It's okay. He's all right. He's okay. Are you okay? Okay, he's fine. The main questions I'm so curious about are, is it selfish? That's the biggest one. Am I being selfish by sharing this music? Am I just looking for validation? Is that what's happening? Am I looking to get kudos or some kind of justification out of my emotions and out of my stories, and like, gain popularity? Is that what I'm trying to do? Another thing that is such a turnoff for me is the idea of, having to actually sell yourself. You have to be the advertisement for your songs. And so it becomes less about what journey you had to go through in your song when people are listening to you, and more about what you are presenting to them. In a dream world, I was really hoping that people would just listen to the words in the songs, understand them the way that I did. Good idea, hope, yes. And then they can, take the information and we can grow together from it. And that's not what happens. Coming to terms with the fact that you are the story. You're the current story. You are making the experience. And that, for me, was a huge turnoff. I'm not that comfortable with the idea of flaunting my physical form just so that my stories can be heard. That part is really stressful for me. I've been performing live now, I think it's been 2 years. And that includes busking in public. I was not a huge fan. It was one of those things where I was I busked until I made enough money to go get a beer because I was so uncomfortable. And then I would go back out and I would busk again for another beer. And it took a lot of money to get one beer because I was in Australia, and Australia is so expensive. I've played a bunch of open mics, and out of the open mics, what I realized is you don't have to be outrageously good, but if you're consistent and you sound good and you look like you're having fun, people will ask you to play there again. And then I started dipping my fingers into social media, and I have to say, the difference between performing at an open mic where nobody knows who you are and you get to play 3 songs and then you leave and nobody sees you ever again probably is so different than putting your stuff out on social media where all your friends and family are gonna watch it. Maybe say good job, but sometimes maybe they're just being nice. So when I started putting all of my music out there, I had these big questions that I wanted to ask myself is, why am I doing this? And the answer is, I'm doing it because we all have really similar stories of feeling. Our feelings, though the outline of the story may be really different from each other's, that doesn't mean that the feelings aren't similar. And I do believe that we all have rooted feelings. I can only hope that sometimes someone will hear that and feel a little bit of relief, that they weren't alone in that feeling and that we got through it together, or if they're going through it, then they're getting through it and there's an end to that feeling. Ultimately, that's what I want out of creating music and writing stories. It feels like I'm always promoting myself to to bribe people to come like my stuff, but if you like this video, no, seriously. Oh my god. So that's the wrap for episode 2. New videos are on Mondays. I really appreciate you guys coming and watching me and supporting me and listening. If you're a writer and you want to share why or when or how you started writing, I would love that if you would leave those comments in down there. Now I have to edit all this.